if you can, introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, how old you are, where you're from, and what it is that you do.
Tandy Banks. I am a 46-year-old father of five, a husband of 25 years, and I wear a few different hats as far as profession goes. Day job, I do a lot of consulting related to manufacturing, engineering, helping people use different software tools to help them be productive. And then in my spare time, I run a restaurant with my brother and our family in Marlow, Oklahoma, halfway in between Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Dallas, Texas.
Say your hands are full is an understatement.
I do have quite a few things to tackle. Yes.
Yeah, I get it, man. And if you can, even with all these things to tackle, you've made it up to this point of where we're here today. So what I'm curious to know is, even before we got to this point, if you can remind me, how many weeks back specifically did you start this initial program?
I'm officially in week 9.
About 9 weeks officially, even though it was a little bit different starting point, but 9 weeks
Yep.
officially. Okay.
Yep.
And can you just tell me, and maybe anyone who may be watching this, why is it that you joined? What was life like back for you then? What problems were you facing, and how did you feel overall?
So I knew something was continuing to trend in the wrong direction. Irritability was pretty high. I was, just not happy the way I felt. I was starting to feel physically, around my midsection, I was not happy. And I was having conversations with my inner circle about I'm in my mid 40s. I have got to start making some changes, because what I don't want is to be another 20 years down the road and to be have mobility problems, have heart disease and diabetes and blood sugar problems and all those kind of things that have either been family history or things I've seen friends and mentors go through. And so I was talking. I had a lot of rhetoric in my circle about I need to make some changes and do some things, and just happened to I believe in providence and not just up to chance, but I happened onto a post that you had made, Logan, on LinkedIn. And it struck me in that busy professional in mid 40s, dealing with being tired and unhealthy and unfit. And it struck a nerve, and it was good enough for me to stop and read the rest of the article. We just fubbed through so many things, but it was something that struck a chord with me. And I had a heart to heart with myself over the next couple of days of, was this just something I was going to slough off, or was this an opportunity for me to dig in a little deeper and understand if I'm ready to take action on my rhetoric and what I had been talking about wanting to do better and be better.
I see. So with everything kind of going on in your world, and even within the business and other responsibilities you have, you found yourself down a path of whether it was certain habits in terms of eating. It got to the point where within your inner circle, some things were said, and then basically to yourself, you said, man, maybe something's got to shift here, especially maybe in terms of where your energy was, physical manner in general. And I know you mentioned irritability. How bad did it get for you? And specifically, what toll did it take on your life personally and professionally to be operating in the state that you were in?
Used a boiling point. If you remember, that was one of the first terms that I used with you. Most of the time we boil water somewhere between 210, 215 degrees. I felt like I was walking around about 208. I was just at a hot simmer all the time. So the little things in life became big things. They just boiled over the pot. It didn't take much to kind of crank up that temperature, get my, I'm sure I wasn't measuring my blood pressure, but I'm sure that was high. And just the intensity of frustration, irritation, there's a lot of words we use around that, but I just didn't feel like myself, for one thing. And then the people closest to me, my family, my tight team members, they were the ones that were catching the brunt of this irritation. And it may have been with them, maybe not. Most likely it didn't have anything to do with them, but it was spilling over into those personal relationships. And that's, I think, whenever I really felt like, hey, if I don't make some changes, if I don't break this cycle, I'll turn around in 5 years and be by myself, because teammates, family, they're just not going to want to be around, because I'm volatile and reactive and all those things that we know is negative and we read about in leadership books. But it was very much for me. So I don't think I had a full on meltdown, but I was nearing that. So whenever you ask how bad it was getting, it was just the daily irritation that was just weighing on me heavily, and those around me as well.
even knowing that was going on for you, then knowing that you joined about like say 9 weeks back or so, what I want to know is what has life been like for you over these past couple of months?
It's crazy how much of an impact it's been mentally, spiritually, physically, definitely. But it has allowed me to slough off a lot of those small things and bring that boiling point way down, and be less reactive, and really take a moment, be a little more patient, and understand all the parameters. We've got a weird dynamic environment right now. We've got stresses coming at us from every direction. Everybody we know is walking around carrying a weight of something. And so to be able to stop, kind of pause for a minute, realize people are trying to do the best they can. They get their best intentions. Maybe they're acting out of their own survival instincts or whatever it is, but just be able to react with people in a much better way. And so that's one huge impact that has over the last 9 weeks has made a huge difference. And families noticed, inner circles noticed, and even those on the periphery. And then just the physical feeling better too. I mean, I know that's part of it. I know our minds and our bodies go hand in hand. And so the physical aspects of that, I know have been huge impact as well.
So basically the boiling point has started coming down, even though people are carrying around all sorts of weight and stuff. The way you're responding is a little bit different than say before you entered. Is that what you say?
Yeah, absolutely.
Love to hear that, man. And even in terms of impact, what specific results have you gotten from being amongst here within just the past 9 weeks or so?
Again, not measuring blood pressure all the time. I know that's lower. I feel it. I don't have some of those blood pressure headaches. I've got more time in my day. Giving time has created more time, and that's a big deal. Establishing the structure and the plan that we have as a part of this program is easy to implement. So therefore, it's created that space in other areas that I needed in order to be able to respond better as opposed to reacting all the time. And so so that's huge. And then if we want to talk about the physical aspects. I was wearing a 38 pant that I was, filling out. I'm sitting in 34 shorts right now. 9 weeks later, I got a pair of 34 shorts on and they're comfortable. I was definitely extra large shirt guy. I'm wearing a large, today, and feeling much better about things. My gut's not overhanging my belt. I ran for the first time in years. I mean, there's just the list just goes on about how much better I feel physically, and also the mental aspects of it as it's gone along.
Wow. So, I mean, that's just touching base on a few things. And I've seen some of these results come to light. And in terms of where you are, not only from a clothes perspective, and also, like you said, in terms of like maybe around the waist and the midsection, how about in terms of weight? Do you remember what weight you started at, and what weight are you sitting at right now as we go through week 9?
218 is where I started. And this morning, I weigh in at 193.6, a little over 24 pounds. So yeah.
Oh man. And you're in week 9. That is, yeah. I told you were ahead of the game, man. That is awesome, man. Seriously. So knowing that a little bit over 24 pounds down, clothes are fitting much better. One thing I found very interesting, you said, I find myself having a little bit more time in my day. Now, with a guy that's as high performing as you've got so many things to balance: businesses, responsibilities, relationships. Can you expand on that when you said, man, I find that I have a little bit more time in my day, even though technically you've added a new routine in play?
Yep. You start carving out some space for ourselves, right? It's, learning to spend a little bit of time on myself so that way I can spend better time on others. That's part of the philosophy of what you teach us here. And it's got that impact. I'm able to go longer in the day. So, I mean, I do have more hours that are active in a given day, but it's also more productive because of our activities, helping, get the right mind space, getting, the necessary things tackled and quick out of the way first, and then making the progress on the physical aspects. That's where, where I see expanding my day and making it more productive.
You see it as more productive. Where would you say your productivity was before, and where would you say it is now?
Now, looking back, I would rate myself at about a 7, and I'm more of a 9 today on productivity. I'm certainly points above where I was before.
Hey, I love to hear that, man. Like if you can increase any realm of productivity or focus, you're winning. And so is probably not only your business, but everybody else in your world as well. How specifically did this impact other areas of your life? You mentioned certain things and how you're responding, mending some relationships, but how else did this impact other areas of your life?
Well, I would say, my kids are seeing it. They're seeing examples as leaders lead. Those that are, a part of our teams will follow and recognize what we're doing action wise, not just what we say. And that's an area that I'm seeing, the way that my family is eating and, how we're more active. I shared with you guys in our group the other day that my 10-year-old he's the youngest, and my older kids were runners, and so he's seen big brothers, big sisters be runners, and so he is not the body shape of a runner by any means. He is a big kid, and he said, "I want to do the 1 mile run." It's something they do for the grade school kids as a part of our cross country meet. And he's like, "I want to get ready to run." And he's run it before, but he's a little bit older and a little bit bigger. And so he's like, "I need to get some time in before the race." So we've been training on this, right? And so him getting and being more active, I think, is a direct result of seeing me get up in the mornings and be active and know that dad's working on this stuff. And so when you're talking about how it's impacting other lives, I mean, to pass that along to our kids and to help them see how to be, healthier. But I think it's being a happier boss, is going to make those long-term relationships, and how, because at the end of the day, our business is here to help the people who work here. That's our focus. We are a team-based organization. And I know that from my consulting job as well. We are very much a team-based approach, and we look after each other. And so at the end of the day, it is the people that we spend the most hours with closest around us. And so having a better mood, a better framework, being more apt to smile and have these kind of conversations, that's ultimately going to, make huge impact for those relationships with my teammates.
That's huge, man. So just happier boss. I mean, and obviously not only that, you were already a leader, but now you're starting to see that this, maybe new way of, what do you want to call it, lifestyle or whatever habits that you're implementing now, you're starting to see that kind of spawn off of whether it's your son or even your employees. You're starting to notice that people are maybe picking up some subtle signs, whether they say it or not.
Right. Exactly.
That's big. And I know you had experienced maybe different realms, but maybe the focus was different when you've tried different things. Maybe it wasn't specifically what has gone on in here, but how has this been different from anything you've ever experienced before?
To me, this seemed realistic. That's the biggest thing. You see Beachbody X, or you see these infomercials, you see these chiseled bodies, and you're like, I will never attain that, so why even try? Why even start? Or you might pick it up and go, okay, yeah, I'm thinking about doing something better. So let's look at this workout routine, 4 days in the gym and, nothing but protein, this and that. You see all these different pieces of some of these other programs. And you analyze, I think if you're smart about it, you analyze, how can that actually apply into my life and the way that I work? I got to be able to bridge from where I'm at to where I want to be. Does this fit? And so many of those things just don't fit. They're based around kind of quick fix, gimmicky things. And this is not. This is about applying consistent. There's some structure and some procedures, but there's a lot of latitude to it as well to make it fit where I'm at today and help me evolve as I move forward to where I want to be tomorrow. And that's a huge difference I haven't seen before.
So you feel more of a realistic approach to where you can still live your life, and this fits in a way to where it almost doesn't just have everything take a back seat, or like you mentioned, other things where it's quick fixes and stuff like that, almost in a way that you can see it fit within your own lifestyle.
Yep, absolutely. And because we are busy, we've got things going, and every day's a little different with kids, especially, they throw different challenges at you, and you got to be able to, business does that. Oh my goodness, the last 2 years, business has thrown so many different things at us. And so it gives us a framework to evolve with those, do what we can, when we can, as often as we can. And get up, move. And if you miss yesterday, guess what? Today's a new day. And that doesn't mean you blew your week. It doesn't mean you blew your month. You just get back where you're at and keep moving. And so the forgiveness that's there, the realism that's there, the genuinity of what's there is just different.
And knowing this, I guess this is kind of maybe in the same line of questioning, but what specific thing do you like the most about being within here and just being within the program thus far?
Hard to nail it down to one. We have a plan. It's there. Just work the plan. It's pretty simple. It's not a lot. It's very easy to keep up with, and it's not a huge set of numerous tasks that it's undaunting or that it's cumbersome. It's easy to implement. It's easy to implement. I know what the plan is. I just got to execute the plan. And as long as we got the the will to not quit, we can execute this plan.
Anything's possible if you're willing to, just put forth a little bit of effort, just like you have during this time. And I'm glad you found that it's simple to follow in a way and not cumbersome or in a way where it's like daunting, like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do this. And I know that it can be very easy with a lot of things that you had mentioned earlier of maybe some certain things out there. And again, everyone's always doing the best with what they have, with where they are. And I know there's a lot of things out there that mean well. But what I want to know from you is kind of knowing that thought process maybe had went through your mind before of like, hey, you're looking at some infomercial, you're seeing something and it's like, yeah, right. I might as well not even try. What I want to know from you is, what was your biggest worry or concern about joining within this program?
For me, it was, self-reflection. Could I keep this up? Could I put this in my life, and could I do something consistent enough to actually see some results? And like I said, it's pretty easy after that first week to go, I can do this, and I can see myself doing this for a long time. So I think that was it, just kind of getting over that first couple of days and realizing that I'm not killing myself. I don't have to go to a gym. I don't have to spend a lot of money on equipment. I don't have to do all this. I can kind of do it with what I got around the house and just get going.
Yeah.
And start seeing those results. Yeah.
Absolutely, man. Even though what you just said is very understandable, especially if someone had tried something before, or maybe you had that same process that you have, like, am I going to be able to keep this up with everything else you got going on in your world as well? So aside from that, what were you really skeptical about when you made the decision to start?
Was I going to see some results? It's I've seen others, struggle. Some of the things that I've tried to do, it doesn't stick, and it's you're like, okay, cool. You drop 3 or 4 pounds of water weight, and then what? And then nothing happens. And so you kind of get discouraged and go, never mind. It's just not worth it. But like I said, that wasn't the case. And it wasn't just about weight. It was, for me, one of the biggest deals was feeling better. And so was this actually going to make me feel any better? Was it going to be impactful? I think that was my concern. And then, at some point in time, am I going to be asked to let go of something that I'm just not willing to let go of?
Okay. So all valid concerns and things to be skeptical about. So number one, results, whether it's those quantitative results or even just, when it comes to the feeling, obviously you wanted to feel better, or is it going to have me kind of give up one thing that I truly enjoy? So with all of that, what did we do at the core to alleviate your skepticism entirely?
You look at the plan, you see that it's there. And just also, I hit it off with you. There's a personality piece of it. I felt kind of your heart and where you were at, and the genuine aspect of what you were doing here, and that you're confident, that be consistent, work the plan, you'll get the results. If you show up and work the plan, you will get the results. And there was a comfort in that was unlike anything else I've experienced. But it's good stuff. So I've enjoyed it.
I love that, man. And what would you say to anyone, like maybe a guy has made it to this position, if he's actually really put his blinders on and made it all the way through, maybe he skipped through, who knows, but he's gotten to this point in this video and he's hearing your powerful story. A lot of things resonate with him, but he maybe has the skepticism that you may have experienced. Am I going to see results with this? Is this thing going to work? Is this going to be in alignment with me and my lifestyle, right? Driver, high performing, busy, lots of responsibilities. What would you say to that guy who was in your exact shoes, what would you say to him if he's considering reaching out, filling out the form, touching base, just exactly like you did? What would you say to him if he's on the fence right now and he's considering doing that, but he's really not sure? What would you share with him?
Yeah. I mean, the easy answer is just do it. Come on board. It's amazing how impactful this has been. And so the value is that you have a life-changing experience that you can do in your own living room. You got a coach that gets up way too early in the morning to make sure that you've got material and information in front of you. And so that to make this easy, it takes the guessing work out of what we want to do. The guy that's watching this video, if you're thinking, hey, is this for real? It's for real. I'm just a guy from Oklahoma that is trying to do the best for his family and his community. And I was able to adopt this program very easily, put it in my system. I'm not having to give a lot of sacrifice. I just got to be consistent to show up every day. And it's making a huge difference in my life and those around me.